This is what the signs that you have met someone from a past life feel like, and no logical explanation seems to fit the reason. A simple conversation or an exchange of glances has the power to evoke a feeling of déjà vu if it is the right person. Then everything becomes extremely familiar. Although we have never seen that face, the essence seems familiar, close, and even part of what we once were. This is how it feels when you have an instant connection with someone you call unknown in this life, but who you have met in the past, in another time, in another place. But how do you know? Our soul is immortal. We have lived many lives and will live many lives more. While we don't remember our previous lives, there are people we meet who seem immediately familiar to us. Our soul recognizes those from our past lives even when we don't ourselves. Why do we meet someone from our past life? First of all, we have to understand that sometimes the souls with whom we have the most profound connection, and with whom we have chosen to learn and grow are the ones who are there to teach us the deepest lessons. And sometimes these lessons are not easy. The fact that two people have met in a previous life does not mean that everything will be love, peace, and happiness. There can be many reasons for this contact to have occurred. One or the other has a job to do in this life, and until this happens, they will continue this contact indefinitely, just like students who have to retake the exam until they pass it. It is also possible that we have chosen that person to work through this life, since we can have several soulmates. It must be remembered that a soulmate is not necessarily a sentimental partner, it can be someone with whom we have chosen to form a connection in several lives, that can appear at different times in our lives in order to help us learn something in particular. Signs you've met someone from a past life. If you experience any of the following while meeting someone, you can be sure that you have met that person in a different life, even someone you have met 100 times. 1. You immediately feel a strong sympathy or antipathy. Perhaps there is not much that the other knows about you or you about him. However, immediately after meeting, you establish a positive relationship. Friendship or even beyond that, a strong nascent bond is generated between those two people. Everything becomes simple, without that tension where you don't know what to do or say to feel comfortable. The talks just become pleasant without even trying. It is one of the most obvious signs that you have met someone in a previous life. However, throughout this and other lives, there have been many encounters with different people, and as in everything, a pleasant experience cannot always be guaranteed. In a situation diametrically opposite to the previous one, the opposite can also happen. Meeting a stranger produces a kind of déjà vu, but this time the discomfort is evident. As if some kind of omen invades the being and turns into rejection, even when there is no reason to feel it. Instead, it is a sign that you have known that person in a previous life. Although we must be careful here, shunning is not always the option. Maybe life presents you with the opportunity to clear karmas, and that is why you find them again. 2. Communication is beyond language. Communication is not always limited to language, be it bodily, visually, or explicitly spoken. One of the most inexplicable signs that you have met someone in your previous life is that there are times when none of the above is necessary to establish a communication connection. In these cases, surprising as it may seem, all known laws are defied. Common dreams. Mimicry? All this means that perhaps in a previous life, your souls have crossed paths, and the connection is so strong that they do not require language to communicate. When this happens, the whys are left over, and you just have to enjoy the experience. You know their thoughts and feelings. Even without words, you can feel what the other is thinking. Souls who share lifetimes tend to have a deeper connection than souls who are only interacting for the first time. If the connection is on a subconscious level, you may have been together much earlier. 3. Unexpected help appears. In the midst of difficult situations, few show up to help. Generally, we have the idea of unconditionally helping those closest to us, those whom we have known for the longest time, and we would give everything for them. But there are times when the right person seems to materialize out of nowhere in the middle of complex situations. Then he gives you his help without expecting anything in return, even without knowing you. This is a sign that their paths crossed in a distant time, beyond this life. 4. You can see it in the eyes. Have you ever been fascinated by someone's eyes? Because you felt like you looked into those eyes a million times? Maybe you actually have. Many people who study reincarnation say that the eyes do not change from rebirth to rebirth. It is said that the eyes are the mirror of the soul. When this person's soul is old, you look directly at this old soul through their eyes, and of course, you recognize them again. 5. Short but intense relationship. We often have unresolved issues with people in past lives that we come to learn and work on. So when they reappear on our path, it doesn't take us too long to clear the karmic connections. Although this does not mean that they go unnoticed, on the contrary, it translates into an intense bond, although very brief. Thanks to this, we resolve past issues, thus we continue with our path and let theirs continue. What to learn from meeting someone from a past life. Knowing more about past lives and relationships can be the key to life today. If there is something that was not learned in a past life, those lessons will be particularly powerful in this one. The universe wants to make sure you don't repeat mistakes. Are you going through a very painful or traumatic moment? You may be dealing with a problem from a past life. The sooner you realize it, the sooner you will determine what you have to learn, and the sooner you will free yourself of that burden. In addition, you will be able to recognize your soulmate, understand the reason for certain mistakes, understand the strange instant connection with someone, and finally, achieve that goal that is being so difficult for you to achieve. Thank you for taking the time to watch our video. If you enjoyed it and found it useful, please consider sharing it with your friends and family if you think they might benefit from it. Subscribe and hit the bell button so you get notified when the next video is out. We tried to cover everything that we thought is important about this topic, but if you think we missed something, or you have a question, or anything else, please leave a comment down below. We will try to answer it as soon as we can and to the best of our knowledge.